Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we're talking about another very significant rapper and figure in the African American community here in America, and they're coming out in favor of Donald J. Trump. That's right, we're in the middle of election season here, as you've probably heard, and things are really heating up when it comes to the candidates facing off against each other, and specifically the more famous people are picking sides and taking stands and picking ways they want to vote and ways they want to encourage other people to vote. And that's what's happening in this story. This is actually a bit different. This is a bigger actual endorsement from a major rapper. Last time we talked about how a rapper turned actor named Ice Cube was kind of indirectly supporting Donald Trump. He got Donald Trump to help him with one of his pet causes. He was trying to pass some laws and bills and get stuff to help black people in America. And Trump heard him out after the Biden campaign refused to talk about it until after the election. That's what got Ice Cube to work with Trump. He never actually endorsed Trump, though. He never said he was going to vote for him or anything either, but he certainly decided to work with him, and he got a lot of backlash for doing that. And now we have another major rapper, admittedly probably not as famous as Ice Cube, but certainly a big one that was very, very popular back in the mid-2000s. His name is 50 Cent. Most people know 50 Cent as a pretty big gangster rapper. He's been in movies. He's been having a really big career too, and he straight up has endorsed Donald Trump for president. So that's a big development. That's actually straight up saying he wants Trump to win. And I think that's a big move for a lot of reasons. Not only is he black and a big figure in the African American community here in America, but also he's a famous rapper, actor. He has a lot of influence, a lot of cred, and he's coming out for Trump, and for a pretty good reason. As you'll see, we're going to get into the details into why, but just to put it briefly, 50 Cent isn't a fan of Joe Biden's tax plan. Joe Biden will clearly raise taxes. That's what he's promised. He said straight up he's going to raise taxes no matter what. If you elect Joe Biden, the taxes are going to go up. Things are not going to go well because of that. People are going to have less money. Rich people are going to have less money to start companies, to hire people. Corporations are going to have to pay more taxes, so they'll be doing less. Things will be growing less. It's just a bad plan. And that's really the crux of why 50 Cent is coming out in favor of Donald Trump. So this is a big story. We're going to get into it more here. Here's an article from a hip hop website. It says 50 Cent endorses Donald Trump for president. This is a big development. Let's go ahead and read on and see what they have to say. Well, here's a shocking endorsement for Donald Trump. 50 Cent has gone on the record to diss Donald Trump in the past, calling out his response to the pandemic several months ago. You wanted a reality show host as president, said Fifth. Well, now you're on Survivor. So that's actually a pretty good joke. Guy's a sense of humor. You got to give him that. It seems that despite how he personally feels about Trump, he will still be casting a vote for the Republican candidate as per his latest post on Instagram. So this is 50 Cent's post on Instagram. This is where the breaking story has come from. It says top tax rates by state. California is 62%. New Jersey is 60%. New York is 58%. And New York City is 62%. So this is under the Biden plan, by the way. I left out that line, but this is how people are going to be taxed under the Biden plan. Almost 60% of your income is going to go to the government. That means you're only going to get to control 1/3 of what you make. So for example, if you make, say, $1,000, 600 of those dollars go straight to the government, and you're left with around 300. That's not the exact math, but basically 62% of what you make will go to the government. And I could see why that's worrisome. I know that Biden has an explanation for that. He tries to pretend that it's only the rich people that get taxed, and they act like it won't affect the average American. And I don't know, there may be some truth to that, but when rich people get taxed, that's bad for other people too. And taxing corporations and stuff more inhibits their growth. It's a bad sign all around. And I could see why 50 Cent would be concerned about this. I mean, he's obviously making a lot of money. He's obviously the one that's going to get taxed the most here. So it is a more selfish kind of way to vote like this. But remember, that's how you're supposed to vote. This is your self-preservation. You should be voting for your own concerns. You shouldn't necessarily be voting on behalf of other people. I know Democrats like to pretend they're trying to save the poor people or the downtrodden. They act like they're these heroes, but it's just not true. They pretend that to try to get sympathy, to try to act like they're better than everyone. They're more virtuous. But the truth is, Democrats are just as self-serving as everyone else. The only difference is a lot of us are just more honest and will admit that we're going to vote for our own interest. That's what most people should and can do. And that's what 50 Cent is doing. And I think a lot of people would agree with this. Now let's go back to the article. It says, sharing a picture of Joe Biden's alleged tax rate plan by state, which includes a 62.6% rate for California. Fifth claimed that he's got enough information from this one issue alone to vote for Trump. And then there's a quote from him. It's a little crass and a little profanity laden, so we're going to have to skip over that quote. But essentially, he was was really triggered by the tax plan, and he says, I'm out. He's bailing on the Biden side. He doesn't want more taxes. He's going to stick with Trump, lower taxes, let people handle their own money, spend things how you see fit. I don't know why the government thinks they can spend our money better than us. I don't know why anyone would trust the Democrats like Biden to allot our taxes. Like, are you kidding me? This guy has been embezzling money from foreign countries. He's getting his son these jobs, these cushy 50 grand a month jobs in Burisma in Ukraine. They're taking bribes from Russia, from China. And then you want to let them handle your money? Where do you think that money is going to go? It's not going to go to places you want and to fix things that you want. You're much better off just paying lower taxes, pay the minimum, whatever we need to just barely fund the government and public works. And then the rest of the money, let us spend our own money. Like, we don't need to give the government money to fix our schools. Let's just fix our own schools or pay for better schools for our kids. Healthcare is the same way. Like, why give all our money to the government in taxes and let them be in charge of our healthcare? I mean, these guys in the government, they can't even run the DMV properly. They can barely deliver our mail, let alone will they be able to handle complicated affairs like healthcare, dentist, eye work, all kinds of stuff like that. It's like totally insane. For context, the tax hike is only applicable for Americans who make more than $400K annually. In recent weeks, Fifth seems to have done a 180-degree turn on Trump, laughing and reposting a video of President Trump dancing at a rally to YMCA. While it's surprising that he'll be voting for Trump, he's incredibly financially wealthy, and obviously his money is more important to him than climate change, systemic racism, and other issues that Trump does not prioritize. Okay, so this article is actually coming out against him pretty much right here. That's some ridiculous crap. I do want to watch this video though, so I had to take the sound off on that, but I just love these new videos of Trump dancing. He did it after one rally a few weeks ago, and the song is Macho Man, I believe, or no, it's YMCA by the Village People. And Trump just does this little old man dance, this little shake, and I love it. It's just so endearing. It makes him seem like a real person. Not like he's the greatest dancer, like no one's expecting him to do the splits or something, but it's just funny that he gets into it. He's got a little rhythm. Some people kind of joked about it, maybe a little mockingly, but I think it's funny. It looks great. Trump looks awesome. And really what's more important, back to this article saying, oh, keeping his own money is more important than climate change, systemic racism, and other issues that Trump does not prioritize. Whatever that means. I mean, climate change and systemic racism, do you really think the Democrats are going to fix that? Like, climate change is just this big boogeyman they use to try to get more power. That's what the Green New Deal was all about. It was about pretending the environment is falling apart and we're all going to die in 8 years unless you pass this crazy socialist bill. And then systemic racism is another made up problem. I mean, these are all Democrat made up problems. That's the thing. That's what's crazy. And even if these things were a real issue or significant, I mean, systemic racism is just made up. I mean, maybe you could argue things about climate change. You could talk about the changing degrees, temperature on the earth, the way the weather changes over the years, over time, over generations. I mean, there's a lot to go on there. There's a lot of science there, but systemic racism is just made up. I mean, there's no racism in the system of our country. If there was a racist law, please point it out, because we're definitely going to remove it. There's no racist laws. There's no laws that say this race can't do a certain thing, this race can do a certain thing. There's no system of racism like they claim. That's just a bogus buzzword because they can't point out to actual problems, and then they overhype these non-problems. This is the same thing they do with things like other natural disasters, other things like the pandemic get overhyped, and sure, they're usually based on something real, like how climate change was, global warming and stuff like that has some basis in some facts and some kind of scientific study, but they get wholly exaggerated, they get wholly warped and used for political reasons. I'm not here trying to be some kind of truther or tinfoil hatter either. I'm not denying everything. I'm just trying to point out the nuance and the fact that the Democrats really use these causes to manipulate people. And then the next move is, if someone like me points that out, then they call us a conspiracy theorist. They act like we're making crap up. We don't believe in science and we're some kind of crazy person that denies reality. And that's just not the case. That's just their defense mechanism. They go after people that attack and break down their arguments and destroy their credibility. They go after them by saying they're crazy and they're making stuff up. The last thing I want to say here is a little bit about celebrity endorsements. I think a lot of people get the wrong idea here when we talk about them. Usually we're bashing pro-left-wing, pro-Democrat celebrity endorsements, and that's true. We do that. That is a very much an entertaining premise that we talk about on this show. But the fact that we then talk about and support Republican supporters and other celebrities like 50 50 Cent who are coming out pro-Trump. That's not exactly hypocritical like you might think. I know how they say, oh, that's contradicting, but you got to really think about it a little bit more. There's more to it than just saying, oh, celebrities can't endorse Democrats, but if they do endorse conservatives, that's cool. That's not what's going on here. Basically, what it really is everyone supports Democrats. The Democrats control the media and the establishment and all this big tech and the internet and all this stuff. You know, they have great grand control of everything. So when a celebrity endorses them, they're just becoming part of the establishment. They're part of the machine. They're not doing something brave like they would claim. There was another celebrity endorsement last week. Demi Lovato said something about supporting Biden and Democrats. And she even went on to say, I don't care if this hurts my career. I don't care if this makes me look bad or something. And it's just like, wait a second, you're not being brave. This is like what every celebrity is supposed to do. You actually get in trouble if you don't support the Democrats. And that's why 50 Cent gets backlash. That's why even Ice Cube got backlash, even though he didn't even endorse Trump. He just said he talked to him and would work with him on some goals. And that's really why I think the difference is, this is what's really going on, is the reason we get a little excited about a conservative celebrity coming out or someone supporting Trump is because it's different. This is something new. This is someone stepping out of the box, not doing the whole norm thing. They're being more honest. And the other main difference is they have good reasons for supporting Trump. Like the reasons for supporting Biden are, again, like crap like climate change, systemic racism. They're making crap up. They're supporting fake quotes that were lies about Trump or something like that. Like their reasoning is flawed, and the reasoning matters for the support. And whenever a rare Democrat flips over and supports Trump for good reasons, like higher taxes or Ice Cube wanting to help the black community, like what Trump wants to do, that's really something new. That's really something different. And that's why I think these stories are important. And I don't think it makes us hypocritical for covering them. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw. Subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for notifications too. Until next time, have a great day.